Hello, I'm John Hansknecht with Laser Safety Systems. In this video, I will be presenting a complete overview of the sequence of operation for all common modules produced by Laser Safety Systems. Depending on your system complexity, your system may or may not contain every module described in this video. There are three operational states of the Interlock system. These are the crashed state, the ready to arm state, sometimes referred to it as safe state, and the armed state. I will explain the expected visual and sometimes audible signals that occur when the system is in each of the three states. I will also be describing the protocols for entry to and exit from the laser-controlled area if your system has one or more of our defeatable access control kits. Let's take a look at the expected system response when the system is in the crashed state. You already know the main control module will show the crashed state, but there are several other system modules you can look at that will show an indication of the crashed status. If you have our LSS-2380 warning module installed, you'll notice the word Laser Safe is flashing on and off. This is a crash indication. Likewise, if you have our LSS-2388 Defeatable Access Control kit installed, you will see the same flashing pattern on the door control module. If you have our LSS-2381 Room Interlock Control module, you'll see the LED is lit next to the Room Crashed text. Next, we need to look at the modules that may be keeping the room in the crashed state. If you have one or more of our LSS-2383 emergency crash modules installed, one of them may have been depressed and you'll need to twist them slightly clockwise to ensure they are released. If you have our LSS-2387 non-defeatable door or curtain monitor, you want to look at the display for the illuminated closed text. If it is not illuminated, you'll need to close the door or curtain to satisfy the interlock. Our LSS-2388 Defeatable Access Controller can also crash the room interlock, but it will automatically reset itself after performing the safety action. There's one exception to this statement. The LSS-2388 control module has a fire alarm input. If it's connected to a fire alarm system and the system opens the contact, the 2388 module will remain in the crashed state until you reset the fire alarm. Next, we take a look at the expected system response when the system is in the safe, ready to arm state. If you've cleared all the faults and the system wiring is properly installed, you should now find the main control module is indicating the disarmed state. On the LSS-2380 warning module and the LSS-2388 Defeatable Access Control module, we see the Laser Safe text is a solid green instead of the flashing condition that was shown in the crashed state. Finally, we take a look at the expected system response when the system is in the armed state. Let's turn the arming key on the main interlock control module. We see it go to the armed state. At this exact moment in time, there will be state changes shown on several other modules in the system. If you have an LSS-2381 Room Interlock Control module, you'll see it change from room disarmed to armed. Looking at the LSS-2380 warning module, we see it transition from a laser safe indication to danger laser on. Looking at the LSS-2383 emergency crash module, we see a red backlight appear. Looking at the LSS-2388 Defeatable Access Control module, we see and we hear an audible response to the arming. We also see the push to exit button illuminate, and the keypad, if utilized in your setup, changes from released to interlocked display state. If you have a magnetic lock installed on the door, it would also lock at this time. Here we see the LSS-2384 Local Interlock Control Module. Up until now, it has been in a room not armed state and was not able to be armed. Now that we've armed the room, we see the room not armed light turn off, and this module is now active to arm and disarm manually. You also have the option of setting a switch on the rear of the module that will make it auto arm and disarm whenever the whole room interlock is armed and disarmed. Now that you've armed the room, laser operation can occur following your site-approved work standards. If something requires a rapid system shutdown, depressing an emergency crash button will disarm the system and remove the laser hazard. Likewise, if anyone violates the standard entry protocol on a monitored door or curtain, the system will crash to a safe state. When the interlock has been crashed, the key on the main control module must be cycled to the locked off position to reset the arming switch before it can be rearmed. Now let's take a closer look at the LSS-2388 Defeatable Access Control system. The main module of our Defeatable Access Controller is constantly monitoring the door closure status. Even when the room is disarmed, you will hear an access tone and see the access text appear during each door opening. This is a self-check operation, so you have confidence that the system is working properly. As previously shown, when the room is armed, the LSS-2388 will go into an armed state and provision itself for access control. From this point forward, proper protocols must be followed to exit or enter the laser-controlled area. In this clip, you see that a worker simply walks up to the door and presses the push to exit button before leaving the room. Next, we see a worker entering the room by using the keypad bypass. In some installations, a facility will link our 2388 main controller to their card reader systems, and the keypad is not required. We wish to stress here that the laser is not disarmed in any way during these access routines. If there is a potential for laser light in excess of the maximum permissible exposure to leak through the door, you must have a laser curtain or labyrinth installed behind the door to prevent exposure. This video is only showing the access in simplest terms. In reality, there is a lot more going on behind the scenes with access timers. We encourage you to review page 6 of the LSS-2388 Installation and User Manual and get an understanding of our intelligent access timer features. We hope this video has adequately described every scenario. But if you have any questions or concerns about any aspect of system operation, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.